The argument from pity, there's different variations on this. It appeals to the fact that there are going to be difficult situations in a person's life in which abortion would seem to them to be a good solution. So think, for example, of a woman who is, let's say, has an alcoholic husband, has 5 or 6 children already. She lives in abject poverty. That's a kind of situation where you're drawn to her plight, and rightfully so. You're emotionally moved by it. And, someone could say, well, in that situation, I think abortion is justified because you're going to relieve that family of that burden and that child's not going to grow up in poverty. But the problem with that is that why couldn't we apply that same reasoning to the children that already are born? That is, what if we were to tell her, well, look, your 3-year-old, supposing the 3-year-old was a child that was disabled and required more expenses to take care of the child. What would we say to somebody who told her, well, we can put that child to sleep and that would relieve you of a burden? We would say, well, that's monstrous to consider killing a disabled child because they're disabled and they cost a lot of money. But, the comeback is, well, but that's different. Well, how is it different? Well, the typical response, well, but that child, the 3-year-old, is, born already. Oh, so the issue is not whether the child's existence is a burden. The question is whether it is a full-fledged member of the human community. And so that ultimately is the more important question to answer the question of whether terminating the pregnancy or aborting the child is justified. So in other words, what's going on is that the person that uses that argument is begging the question. They're assuming that the unborn child is not a person, because that's why it works, right? I mean, if you switch it to the 3-year-old that's disabled, well, then people recognize immediately, well, this is a horrible thing. You can't just be killing innocent children because they can relieve the family of a burden. Well, then the question is, are the unborn children? That's really the question. You have to answer that first.